Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. So, the book we're diving into today, The Adventure by Giorgio Agamben, helps us get a handle on one of the most fundamental systems there is, the system of self-creation. It shows us that our identity isn't this fixed thing we just have. Nope, it's something we are constantly building, using the power of storytelling. Okay, so when I say the word adventure, what pops into your head? Probably a trip, right? A quest, some big, exciting thing happening out there in the world. But the Italian philosopher Giorgio Agamben, he really challenges that whole idea. He asks, what if the real adventure isn't something that happens to us, but is actually the very mechanism that makes us, well, us? And this really flips our whole idea of adventure on its head. On the one hand, you've got the common view. Adventure is an escape. It's something you do outside of your normal life. But Agamben says, no. For him, adventure is this internal structure. It's a way of being. It's not about escaping your life. It's the very process of making your life, of making yourself. Okay, so how does this whole process actually work? Well, Agamben argues that adventure is this incredible, almost magical connection between what happens to us, the raw event itself, and the story we end up telling about it later. And it all works in this constant loop. It's a really powerful idea. First, something just happens. It's totally random, pure chance. It doesn't mean anything on its own. Then, step 2, we grab that random event and we wrap it in language. We turn it into a story with a beginning, a middle, an end. We give it meaning. But here's the kicker, the crucial third step. That story you just told, it actually bounces back and reshapes you. The tale literally builds your identity, your sense of self. And this quote from Agamben just nails it. You see, for him, the event and the story about it aren't two separate things that happen one after the other. The moment something happens, it's already begging to be told as a story. The adventure is this incredible fusion of life and language. They become one and the same. Now, to make this concrete and not just some abstract idea, Agamben shows us how this system of making ourselves has changed over time. And he does it by looking at two totally different figures, the medieval knight and the modern artist. So, way back in the Middle Ages, adventure wasn't some feeling inside you. It was a real external force. So real, in fact, that they personified it as a woman named Frau Aventurier, or Dame Adventure. She would literally show up at the poet's door. If you were a knight, your life wasn't about making choices. You were basically a character in a story that was already being written, a story that was happening through you. You and the tale were completely intertwined. But then we hit modernity, and the whole system flips. It shifts from being outside to being inside. For an artist like the writer Goethe, Dame Adventure is gone. In her place is this internal guiding force he called the daemon. Think of it like an inner voice, a deep sense of personal destiny that pushes the artist to take their messy, random life and shape it into a masterpiece, a work of art. The adventure becomes a project of writing your own story. And just to be clear, this daemon isn't some cute little muse or guardian angel. As Goethe himself describes it, this internal force is, well, it's complicated. It's irrational. It's not exactly moral. It can be good. It can be bad. It's that powerful, messy drive we all feel, that urge to make sense of our lives, to force a story onto the chaos of just existing. So, what does all this philosophy about knights and artists have to do with us right now? Well, this is where it gets really powerful. Because Agamben is basically telling us that we are all living in the age of the daimon. And that brings us to the big question for you. If all the random things that happen in your life only get their meaning when you turn them into a story, then what story are you telling? And how is that story shaping who you are? Think about it. A breakup, getting a new job, failing at something. The event itself is just a data point. But is the story you tell a tragedy, a comedy, a story about liberation? Because that narrative isn't just a simple recap. It's actively creating the person you are today. And that's the whole point, really. We have so much more power in this than we think. Life isn't just a series of random events happening to us. It's a collection of stories that we choose to tell about those events. We are the ones holding the pen. And that leads us to the final, really mind-bending takeaway from Agamben. You know how we're always told to find the meaning of life, like it's some treasure buried somewhere? Well, what if that's all wrong? What if meaning isn't something you find? What if it's something you have to build? Something you manufacture every single day with every story you tell? For the full long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoyed this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.